Secretary of the SACP Youth League, joining us to talk a little bit about the elections that have taken place, the NEC. You've been also nominated onto the NEC of the ANC, hey Buti?
Yeah, I've been nominated, and I'm actually here as a voting delegate representing a branch. Yeah.
And are you excited about being in the NEC again going forward now?
Look, I mean, I have been nominated, and I think that's a different thing from being elected because the voting will be starting today. I think for me, it's whatever happens.
What is your expectation, though?
Look, I mean, with voting, you can't specifically say, well, I've accepted the nomination, and hopefully I will be elected.
Yeah. What are some of the key issues now going forward? The issues of the leadership have been dealt with. The voting for the NEC will get underway today. There will be a bit of focus there, but really the commissions and the policy the considerations quite important. What for you are the key issues that must come out to vigorously take forward some of the agenda that you bring as the Young Communist League, but also as part of this alliance?
For me, I think it's about how do we make education fashionable amongst young people? How do we stop the, rot wherein when a young person passes their grade 12, where they think about registering a CC instead of going to varsity or an FET college. So that culture of learning, I think we need to bring it back. Secondly, I think the whole issue of the tender system, looking into why it has brought so much corruption and this interconnection between business and politics, and how people want to use political leaders, in order to prosper as business people. And maybe the other key issue for young people out there is the whole issue of youth unemployment, which I think, if this conference does not categorically say how do we use the new growth path, industrial policy action plan, and the national development plan in order to drive, youth unemployment. Of course, there are other, key economic, social, and political issues which will be looked at, but at the center of that is what becomes the role of the branch of the ANC, being rooted in communities, being, not only for internal ANC elections, but also for serving people. I think we need to go back to where leadership is about service to the people instead of, self-service.
What are the policy considerations that you're putting on the table for job creation in particular, for enabling young people to find opportunity and expression in this economy?
Look, what is more central is how do we use, for instance, the procurement system to empower youth cooperatives? How do we support real youth entrepreneurship and small, medium, and macro enterprises? How do we, empower young people through skills development? How do we place them in FET colleges, train them as welders, as carpenters, as painters, in construction and all of that? How do we basically,
Yes, how do we do that then? Because you already have the FET colleges, you have the universities. What are your proposals? What are you saying how are you saying that should be dealt with?
Look, one of the key things is, making FET colleges to, not only be open for 6 hours or 7 hours as is the case, but to more than 12 hours, wherein, a young person who's running a salon or a tuck shop can go into an FET college later in the evening in order to improve their skills. But we have to make each and every arena, as the Minister of Higher Education always says, every space should be a space for skills development. Every space should be a space, to empower young people, to become SMMEs. I think that, there's been this misconception that because we've openly spoken about tenderpreneurship, for instance, that it means that we hate young black business people. That's not the case. We want real, initiative, innovative young people, to grow this economy, not people who will only rely on their political connections, in order to get businesses. And some of them, when they get those businesses, they do not deliver. All they look at, is the next, Range Rover or the best bottle of champagne and all of that. Let's make the real economy work, and the only way we can do that is to invest into the energies of young people.
Just now, looking at the culture, you're talking about the branch being central to the work of the ANC and so on. When I started the show, I remarked about how stark for me the contrast between yesterday and today is. When you were coming through the gate, it was energetic, it was inspiring, people were singing, there was a strong focus on the leadership. Now, policy considerations, the top 6 issue is gone. Now the people are also gone from the gate there. Where have the people gone? And some are now saying, people have gone back home. So, if people can stay in conference to focus now on policy issues and have that kind of vigor as well, what chance do you have of restoring the branch to be central to the work that has to be done?
Look, it's political education, and maybe about the people there are a lot of people who came to Mangaung who are not necessarily delegates, who wanted to come, and be part of the history and be part of the mood. And I hope those are the only people who have left. I've been, participating in the commissions throughout since the second day, and I think it has been energetic. But what is the only way in which we can go back to the branch, go back to the basics, is through political education, is to tell people that you're not in the ANC in order to benefit personally, but you are in the ANC to benefit your community, where you come from and the people have mandated you.
All right. Buti, thank you very much. We won't show your shoes because your shoes are not branded SACP shoes. We might be promoting a different brand altogether. Let's leave it at that. Buti Manamela is Secretary of the Young Communist League, joining us this morning, also as a voting delegate here at this ANC conference in Mangaung.